Oy. 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 All right, we'll do an audio check. Make sure everything's fine, then we'll get going. All right, we'll do an audio check. Make sure everything's fine. Seems fine. Hey, Grieven, World Beater, Codex, Patrick, you there? Also known by a different name. A sneakier name. I have some stuff I gotta do today, so we're gonna keep this stream going. So if you're not here at the start, screw you, man. By that I mean you can just rewind or hide the VOD viewers. Hi, VOD viewers. This looks like a confusing screen. It sort of is, but we're doing another one of our faction face-off thematic events. I haven't done them for quite a while. People asked for them to return. We did a poll on our Discord and people voted for this. So I took 2 squads of lords, found a thing that binds them together, and then made themes out of that. So we have gods versus gold. Rapon, Stillioness, Village, the Curseling, Volkmar the Grim, Crone Hellebron, and Wurzag, all very devoted followers of their individual gods, versus people mostly just in it for the money. Tretchgraven-tailed Golgi, Maneater, Sail the Faithless, literally has the Faithless in his name, Drazoeth, the Ashen, and Aranessa Saltspite. So it should be fun. In the big black text box in between them are some special, I guess I'd call them bonuses, because all of them do get more gold than your basic army, but bonuses to make them play a little more thematically, just kind of fun in general. So Raponce and Tretch get large army size, meaning they have up to 40 unit slots and a hero limit of 5. So Raponce can take some of her, you know, Enri and the Green Knight and some healers and not worry about that. And Tretch can take some chieftains and stuff. And both of them should be able to make use of that large unit size with very cheap infantry. Village and Golgi, 5,000 extra gold, but they must bring the Changeling / Greasus Goldtooth as their second lord. So I had a hard time picking between Golgi and Greasus for who would like gold more from the ogres. So I was just like, wait, we have multiple lord settings now. I can just have them, I can force them to take Greasus. So really it's Golgi and Greasus versus Village and the Changeling. Volkmar versus Sail, 4,000 gold, no guns or big monsters. So for the Empire, no guns, just faith and steel. And on the other side, no SEM spam, so we won't see any Chimera, silliness. None of the other single entities are really that meta, but still, it was just like, well, it's a way to nerf Norsca without just... Empire, you get no guns, and Norsca, you also get no guns, which you have none of, so sure. Extended rosters are open, but same rules for them, so Volkmar can get some of the non-gunpowder extended roster Empire units. And Norsca can get, I believe they have that Mammoth squad. Yeah, I think that's it really for their regiment of now, because their hell cannons would be gunpowder. All right, Crone Hellebron versus Drazoeth, 4,000 gold, but limit to 5 male units for the Dark Elves, greenskin units for Drazoeth. So no Hobgoblin, well, not no, you limit 5 Hobgoblin, Goblin Laborer, Orc Laborer type units. So we're going to get a lot of Chaos Dwarves and big constructs. And then Wurzag versus Aranessa Saltspite, plus 2,000 gold, so the least extra gold. But regiments, Sartosa units are allowed. That's not really the buff for Aranessa. It's mostly that regiments of renown are considered regular unit caps. So you could have 4 or 5 Shade Wraith Gunners. You could have, I think the limit is 3 or 4 for the Lamprey's Revenge. I'm trying to think of any other good Vampire Coast regiments of renown. But Wurzag, I mean, you could have 4 or 5 Ruglan's Armored Orcs, 8 Peak Loons, that kind of thing. So that should be fun. Anyway, we'll see a thematic matchup between them. Both teams will keep fighting until only one team still has living members. So we'll get to that when we get to that, but let's just get started with the first game, shall we? And first up, we have Hayseed versus Strevlet. So it is the middle there. Hayseed on Sale the Faithless versus Strevlet's Volkmar the Grim. I'm just going to go with what I got in order. So we may not go in order on the screen thing there. Take down the blockers. Okay. So we're loading in. I have not watched any of these replays in their entirety. A couple I had to check on times 4 speed just to see which player won, because the players didn't tell me and they went to bed, and I'm like, well, to help you schedule your next games, I didn't even know who freaking won. Who's the anime boy? Both of those are stock art from a board game I made that I sometimes use for streams just because they're mine. Yeah. Jacker Skins is here. Vincent Red, what up? All right. For these rosters, we have Marauder Champions across the front line for Hayseed. Some have great weapons. Most are just axe and shield. Some Skin Wolves, some Kurgan Horsemen, a couple Javelin Throwers, and then Maws of Savagery, Beasts of Tashnar. We do have Sale the Faithless. He is on horseback and hiding behind a shed so that the Luminarch doesn't hit him just yet. Occam's Mindrazor, Wind Blast, and then his Nightmaw. On the other side for Volkmar, no guns, but does have some extended roster, and oh, he is making full use of it. I remember this now, because I had to check. The players didn't tell me who won this one, so I played it at times 4 speed, but when I saw 5 Carroburg Greatswords versus Marauder Champions, I was like, Norska might be completely fucked here. Carroburg Greatswords are insane. Anti-infantry, armor piercing, all that stuff, but they're unbreakable and they have bathed in blood, so they're kind of cracked. A whole front line of Carroburg Greatswords, then the Templeoff Luminarch, Volkmar the Grim on his War Wagon of Doom, a Bright Wizard with Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Ruin, Huntsman spam, the White Wolves, and then some Spearmen, Sigmar's Sons, Grundrol's Defenders in the back as well. And we do have Kalara, the Marcus Wolfheart Waywatcher hero with Arrow of Kurnos and her Isha's Reign. Templeoff Luminarch does target Sale once again now that he came out of hiding from behind his little shack. He's gonna rip a shot towards him. Let's see if it hits. It does. It quadruple hits, which I remember a specific patch notes that said it can't do that anymore. And this game is saying screw you to CA's patch notes from oh so long ago. And Sale is already shattered and leaving the battlefield. Speaking of shattered and leaving the battlefield, I mean, now he's dead, so it doesn't matter. But Volkmar has drove through some of the Marauder Hunter javelins, routing off some of them. Carroburg Greatswords are holding steady against the Marauder Champions. This is looking pretty rough for Norska. They're starting to move in on the flanks, but a couple other units are dropping orders. Just with larger armies, it can be harder to micro them. Skin Wolves charge into some spears. They're trying to get towards that back line, but it is pretty difficult. And now the Templeoff Luminarch's like, great, I one-shot Sale, but what do I do now? So it's just gonna rip random shots at Kurgan Horsemen. Balance of power is pretty far against Norska, and I would tend to agree. I mean, even if they get into the backline and shut down all the Huntsmen, this is looking really rough, because you're going to have to still kill all the Carroburg Greatswords and Volkmar with a caster alive, and you don't have your Lord, which Norska's leadership can struggle. I mean, good act of vengeance here as Skin Wolves sneak into the Empire formations and absolutely tear apart the Templeoff Luminarch. They're probably going to finish that thing off before the Carroburg Greatswords can peel for it effectively, so that's nice. But I don't know if it's enough to, like, turn this game around. Ooh, yeah, because Sale was their Lord and caster for Norska, which is pretty rough. Yeah. Rip. I see chat saying roughly rip Sale. Kalara's still firing. Huntsman's still firing into the Skin Wolves. The Luminarch is dead and gone. But I don't know if Norska has the staying power left. Marauder Champions struggling against these unbreakable Greatswords. The Greatswords are getting whittled down. They have taken a lot of damage, but Unbreakable is just a hell of a drug. They're still just beating up the poor Marauder Champions. They're now going to rout as Volkmar comes in at actually pretty high speed, just rolling straight through the Marauder Champions. Didn't even stop. That's funny. Norsko's scrapping pretty good. I mean, the balance of power was tragically bad for them very early on, and they've kept it about that bad the whole game. That doesn't mean they're winning, but I'm just kind of surprised they didn't get steamrolled. Should we ban the Luminarch because of this? Not really. It's too slow to fire and too slow to rotate. And then it's not very good if it can't multi-hit, which it's good against horses and chariots, but it's not that great against infantry-sized things or incredibly large things. But I don't know. It's a little buggy and weird, but it's kind of not of the scale of something you actually have to like ban or anything. Otherwise, you'd see it in a lot of games, right? But you just don't. Empire's honestly not doing great at the moment, as Kalara throws out her rain of arrows, which is just a re-skinned, what's that frost spell? Ice shards? Yeah, overcasted ice shards. I think it's just reskinned that with more AP damage. Kurgan horsemen get blocked up by Volkmar, so they don't get to charge the Kerber greatswords. I love that he's peeling for the Kerber greatswords. Unbreakable, frenzied greatswords can't handle themselves against some light cav Volkmar. All right, dude. Whatever, bro. Norska's pretty doomed at this point. We see the last of the Skinwolves just trying to kill some random huntsmen, but all around the huntsmen, Kalara, various other swordsmen just peeling for them as best they can, and their army losses is finally going to take Norska down. GG. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention at the start. The players signed up for this, seeing what each faction had, and also with a no whining clause, and none of them did. All of the players through the whole event were great sports, but that is just the thing. These are artificial bullshit limits I made up on the fly to try and make a fun stream. If any faction is overpowered, blame me. That's on me. And the players have nothing to do with it. They didn't make the rules. Also, it is a for fun event, so keep your pants on. Keep those pants on. Hey. This is a family stream. Kerber Greatswords did great. Huntsman did very well. Also, the Temple off Luminarch did nicely. I mean, one-shotting Sail, definitely worth it. And Kalara did well. Just feel bad for the Norska player. They didn't bring a Dreadmaw. Yeah. Yeah. Damn it, Hayseed. Why didn't you bring a Dreadmaw? CA is at fault. Okay. I need to select whatever the top layer is. It is this one. So Norska is down. Bam. But there's still 4 people fighting for money. They'll be fine. They'll live it up. All right, what's the next one I find? Tretch versus Rapance. So we're going all the way to the top. Oh yeah, and Milky Way is trolling me on Tretch Craventail. So Milky Way brought all levels of Skaven mainline infantry. No Plague Monks, no Death Runners, nothing from a specific clan. But this is truly a Clan Rictus build. Skaven slaves all across the front line. Storm Vermin Sword and Shield, Storm Vermin Halberds, and Clan Rats backing them up. That is an unholy nearly 4,000 rats sprinting across this field. On the other side, not on the other side, but for the hero core, we do have a Flensing Ruin and a Howling Warpgale caster, knowing that Rapance could bring the Green Knight. That seems pretty smart. Double Chieftains on Bone Breakers, and then Tretch Craventail himself with Lucky Skull Helm, and stay here, I'll get help. On the other side for Britannia, significantly less model count. Wraith still brought 5 peasant mobs, and then a crap ton of Knights Errant and Knights of the Realm, 2 triple gold chevroned field trebuchets, and then 5 heroes. The Green Knight, Enri La Massif, Rapance de Lyonesse, Felix, and a Damsel of Beasts with the Manticore summon. Okay. So what Britannia has to do immediately is kill the Warlock Engineer, because if Flensing Ruin exists, your 5 heroes are going to have a pretty tough time if this game goes long. So the Warlock Engineer has to die. Also, Race is going to have to accept that he can't protect these field trebs. That is too many random Skaven he's going to have to charge to death as the Green Knight leads some Knights of the Realm into already terrorizing some Skaven slaves. Clan Rat's probably close behind. Where are Felix and Rapance going to end up? For now, they are retreating, running away from Bone Breakers, and I can't say I blame them. Retreat! She gets hit in the back of the head. Probably gonna have to turn and fight. And Henri is gonna have to get active once again. I really want to see someone dive that Warlock Engineer, as Wraith's Damsel of Beast does get herself in trouble. She is surrounded by storm vermin. That's not a good place to be. They will actually chop her up. There we go. She's running. She's fine. She's fine. Manticore is out. Hopefully that dives the Warlock Engineer. We do need to dive the Warlock Engineer. Please, God, dive the Warlock Engineer. Rapunzel, Felix, and Henri fighting side by side. Henri did dive down here to help out a little bit. With his Colossal Strike, he'll do pretty well against the Chieftains, as Rapunzel actually is very capable of dealing with Tretch. Helping Hand and the Sword of Leoness, giving her 133 melee attack. All right, she has to go find Tretch. Hit him. Hit him in the snot. Ah! That was the snout and the snoot combined into snot. So I guess she's picking his nose with her sword because I am a wordsmith. If Britannia wins, I'm becoming a Grail Knight. Good, but I think you still have to like find the Grail. I don't think that's something you can just choose to do. Henri has already routed off one of the Chieftains, but there it is! Fledzing Ruin Overcast onto the 3 heroes that are in a cluster, though Henri is going to get out of it. Felix is trying to help heal up her pawns, and where's that dastardly Warlock Engineer? He's sitting in a pile of Skaven. So far, to Britannia's credit, they had kept the field trebuchets online a lot longer than I thought, but that time seems to be coming to an end as storm vermin are cresting the hills and getting closer and closer to that Bretonian artillery piece. Cleansing Ruin is still cooking Rapunzel for now. Tretch is down to half HP. Chieftain's doing fine. The other Chieftain was getting chased off by Henri. He's almost done killing it. All right, there we go. It's shattered. Just leave it alone. It's fine. Green Knight still trying to help clear out random clan rats with the Knights of the Realm help. And actually, Britannia is up on the balance of power. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Rapunzel and the lads could be doing it. Oh, that's why he brought Felix. For late game healing without taking a Damsel of Life. Okay. I see the vision now. I see the vision. As the Chieftain is getting hit after hit on Rapunzel, Tretch is also going to join in. They're fighting on top of halberds, which can be a little dangerous for Henri. But Rapunzel is receiving a little bit of healing from the Blood Oath of Felix. But that Chieftain is getting a lot of hits in, and yeah, Henri has to come over and offer a little bit of protection. We also have Knights Errant charging into the Storm Vermin. Not going to do that much damage, but, you know, a little bit is a little bit. Beastcaster probably needs to be throwing out more Flocks of Doom. She only has 34 value. What she doesn't have Flock of Doom. Oh no, I didn't realize it. I just, in my brain, I'm like, you have a Beastcaster, so of course you have Flock of Doom. Oh shit. Okay. Escape and win. GG. No Flock of Doom to clear out all these Storm Vermin is brutal, and also, like, it's a for fun event, so I'm not going to be too much of a dick, but not targeting the Warlock Engineer is clearly really hurting the Bretonians in this fight. Rapunzel is routing, Henri is routing, Felix is almost gone as well as the Green Knight is in. They get rid of the second Chieftain, which is good. They've almost gotten rid of Tretch, which is okay. The Beastcaster only has Wissen's Wild Form left for spells. She used both of her Manticore summons, and she is entirely surrounded by Skaven slaves, so I guess she's not going to take that much damage. It is just Skaven slaves after all. Britannian Knights are still cycle charging back and forth, taking out a lot of Skaven infantry, but when you had 4,000 models to start the game, they've lost 1,500 models, which is a usually pretty large army is entirely 1,500 models. So the Skaven have lost that and still have 2,300 Skaven left that you're going to have to get off this battlefield somehow. The Fae is holding the Grail? I don't think so. Grieven, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought questing knights were on a quest to find the Lady of the Lake. Like, it's not the Fae Enchantress. The lady shows up and deems you worthy and lets you drink from the Grail. The Fae Enchantress doesn't have it. All right. I got distracted by lore questions. Britannia's still charging around. Green Knight's still trying to hunt Tretch. But Tretch is still hanging in there. Nearly 2,000 HP, which is not nothing. Warlock Engineer is getting bullied around by the Knights Errant, pushing him this way and that. He's not having a very good time of it. Rapunzel is still alive, so the Bretonian's leadership hasn't collapsed just yet, though the Damsel of Beasts... Oh, she isn't routing. Something behind her is routing. Okay, Damsel's fine. She's fine. She's chilling. For all the Wissenland's wild forms in the late game. Yeah, I know it's not Wissenland, it's Weissans. Weissans. We wish it was Wissenland's wild form. Tretch is just hiding in Storm Vermin halberds. As the Green Knight is getting whittled down. He has like 1 billion resist. Yeah, he has 70 resist versus physical damage from those halberds, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like army losses is taking Britannia out. And with just the Green Knight, he can't win all this, so I'm going to fast forward as he plows back in. I think he was going to just try and kill the Warlock Engineer and Tretch for vengeance. But that is too many rats. They still have... They just fell under half. Half of the rats have died. Look at them all. They're like ants from up here. Wow, Tretch is actually killing it. I wonder what his value was in that whole game. 3 kills, only 500 value, surprisingly. 1900 on the Warlock Engineer, which is also a little lower than I thought for Flensing Ruin that many heroes. So I guess the Stormvermin Halberds just clutched it out. Yeah, Halberds got pretty good value. For race, Rapon struggled value-wise. Henry did okay. Felix struggled as well. Green Knight did his job. I mean, he was just a giant terror monster, but there were too many. There were too many rats. GG's. GG's. Faith has lost their first champion. All praise gold. Next up I have here is Nalnish versus Codex. Greenskins versus Vampire Coast. Regiments of Renown are not limited to 1. You can take them as if they're normal ass infantry. This is one of the ones I was most excited for, to see what they brought as their Regiments of Renown. Looks like the Greenskins went with 3 Rugland's Armored Orcs and 2 of Snagla's Death Throwers, I think that's what they's called. I don't know. The Coast went more all in on it. 5 Shade Wraith Gunners, 2 Night Terrors. Okay, I flipped you guys back to the game, right? Yep, you're on the game. Yo. So these armies have 2,000 extra gold, not nearly as much as some of the other limitations, but they are allowed to have a little more spicy units. So we have a Sartosa Free Company front line, backed up by 5 Shade Wraith Gunners, a couple hand gunners, a couple hand cannons, 2 Night Terrors, as we mentioned, Aranus Assault's Pipe with her net, and then a Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires with Gaze of Nagash, Invocation Hack. The other side for the Greenskins, less Regiments of Renown. We do have Savage Orcs and Goblins in the front line. Savage Orc Auror Boys in the back with Savage Orc Biggins, Wurzag, and then I did mention 3 Rugland's Armored Orcs, 2 Snagla's Death Throwers, and then some more Boar Boys with Wurzag leading the front. He has his net, Effigy of the Git, and then Brainburster and Edboar. The Ghost Fire is coming in very aggressively. We already have 2 Savage Orc Auror Boys running away. One of the Rugland's Armored Orcs is also thinking about departing with Brainburster on the front line of the Sartosa Free Company, but they do not rout just yet. Cavalry's got to get a little more aggressive for the Greenskins. There is really very little to peel them. Yeah, so the Boar Boy should probably be diving. He's going to try and peel, keep his archers safe from the Night Terrors, but I think like the balance wise you should probably be focusing more on shutting down the Vampire Coast shooting than protecting your own, just because of how quickly they're routing and all that stuff. Probably more worth it. It looks like he was trying to prepare for Lamprey's Revenge though. That's probably what the double Snagla's Death Throwers are for. So not seeing them is maybe throwing them off a little bit. In comes Aranessa's first Spearfisher's Net, and a hand cannon plus some ghost shots are trying to rout off those Boar Boy Biggins. Savage Orc Biggins trying to get through the front line. Other Shade Wraiths are lighting up Wurzag, and now hand cannons and handguns have also focused on him, so he's having a pretty bad time. Greenskins in a tough spot this early in the game. They just can't quite penetrate that back line and shut some of these guys down. We are losing 1 Shade Wraith Gunner, but that still leaves 4 and the ghost missiles are proving very difficult for the greenskins to deal with. Contrarian Codex, member for 20 months. Thanks for organizing a fun tournament event, even when the general interest in the game is a bit meh. Cheers, Ratman. Keep up the good work and stay healthy. Thanks, Codex. Codex, we're spectating your game right now, sir. Not enough Shade Wraiths there, clearly. Clearly. Savage Orc Biggins have got to the back line. They're starting to chase down those Shade Wraith Gunners. Shade Wraith Gunners will die very quickly. Ghost units are generally like, oh, they have physical resistance, so they're tanky, but like, not these guys. They have 3,000 HP. But they still cause terror. And with some side shots from the cannons and other Shade Wraith Gunners, the Greenskin leadership can't hold up. Even Savage Orc Biggins can't do it. And the Coast are running away with this one. This army is what if ghosts were actually good and not a meme? Pretty much. Pretty much. And that, now, some of the games might be a bit stompy, that is true, but I think the fun is seeing the creativity of what the players will do when the Regiments of Renown are unlocked. And clearly the Greenskin player was expecting to see multiple Lampy's Revenge, and the other guy said, what about ghosts? What about just ghost bullets all day long? In comes a Wah, desperate late game Wah to try and keep the Greenskins somewhat in this, but I saw Wurzag already shattered, so they have no caster, no real lord. Boar Boys are going to peel the back line, save them from the Night Terrors, but still 4 Shade Wraith Gunners just mulching the entire army. Ghost go pew pew. Those deck gunners are too strong. Yeah. But then Volkmar's army was pretty strong, so maybe Volkmar can hold it down. Who knows? A brutal Gaze of Nagash hits 3 units on its way to the Broken Tusk mob, doing a lot of damage to all 3 along the way. We have more routing, more shattering. We have cleared out. I saw one of the Night Terrors was dead. The other one also appears to be dead. So they killed both the Night Terrors. They've done a good job on the Sartosan Free company, but the main problem is these 4 Shade Wraith Gunners. Actually, yeah, the Greenskins have done a really good job. Looking at the battlefield, it actually simplified quite a lot. They just can't quite get back to those ghost guns, but they've killed everything else, so. Nalnish putting up a fight on the way out. Balance power is still very much against him, and I would agree. I mean, your Lord is off the map. No. Oh, this is going to get worse. When Wurzag goes off the map, they'll all take a leadership hit, and they're still getting slammed by ghost artillery daily, nightly, and ever so rightly. Goblin's going to charge forward. Pathetic little shields raised as ghost sniper rifles just slam into them. 26 leadership. They are going to terror out if they get too low, but charging will give them a little bit of leadership, though I think Wurzag is about to go off the map at literally the worst time. Never mind, army losses is coming, so the Goblins didn't stand a chance. GG. Ghost artillery is better than a couple greenskin archers with some armor. All the ghost guns did pretty well. Night Terrors didn't get a lot of value. They just had to try and peel, which they did. For Borgash, also known as Nalnish, infantry more mixed. It depends on which ones got instantly massacred by the gunners. Savage Orc R Boys also struggled a bit. Rugland's Armored Orcs, 2 of them did okay. 1 struggled. Boar Boys did okay. Snag's Death Throwers struggled a bit too. See, players aren't psychic, right? The players aren't psychic. Nalnish clearly couldn't know everything that was coming at him, but in my humble opinion, 5/8 peak loons. Fucking unbreakable, sprint at them. You're never routing for shit. I mean, 5/8 peak loons. Could have had the Looney Boys. The Looney Tunes. That's funny. Good job, Codex. Good job. Okay, so that is a round 2 thing. We're gonna finish round 1. We're gonna finish round 1, so I'm not gonna save that either. So let's do Sipa versus Big Ketru. Golgi and Greasus versus Village and the Changeling. All right, let's see what Big Ketru brought for the Changeling's alternate form. We don't know that yet, but we know we have Golgi and Greases, and this is why I gave this matchup the most extra gold. They have 5,000 extra gold because I was making the ogres bring Golgi and Greases, and then you need a caster, and that's a lot of money. I suspected, but I didn't know for sure. I fucking knew in my heart that he was gonna bring Changeling Greases. That's so funny. All right, we have Greases versus Greases. Village the Curseling brought Pink and Blue Fire. We have Ace and the Fallen, Marauders with Spears, the Severed Claw, and then the Sour Guts with other Pink Horrors, and a Soul Grinder. Ooh, and one Changebringer with some Doom Knights. For the Ogre side, we have Piggyback Riders, Ogre Bulls, a spam of those. We do have the Powder Guts, Ogre Pistols, some Piggyback Riders, and then Crushers, two Iron Fists, and the Sky Striders. We have a Butcher of the Great Maw with healing, because you got to heal up, Greasus, Golgi, and 3 Crushers. Changeling Greasus is scuttling back to his spears, not wanting to fight the Sky Striders all on his own, and that is very understandable. And those Changebringers are going to need... They're using their ammo on Ogre Bulls, but they need to go shoot Crushers. Crushers are definitely the target they need to take their vengeance out on. They need to hurry about it. As Golgi is getting good damage on Ace and the Fallen with the Powder Gut support, but the Severed Claw around here, you gotta be careful, little man-eater. You gotta be a little careful you don't die. Aeson's getting massacred, though, and in come the Sky Striders. Now, Changeling Greases is getting to scrap with those boys. Very good weapon strength for him, so if he gets any hits on them, he'll get a lot of damage out. But I don't see... There we go. One was finally impacted by Monstrous Impact, meaning he finally hit them. Changebringer's coming over as the Doom Knights dive onto the Powder Guts, who got a preemptive overcast of Troll Guts, and there is the Changebringer fire we needed. Pretty solid damage considering the expense of the units they are shooting at, so that is great targeting for the Changebringers. Regular Greasus Goldtooth and his ogres are getting through the front line, however, providing a bit of harassment for Tzeentch's backline, and Golgi's getting his own treatment right back at him. He was getting a ton of damage on the Mutant Vortex Beast. Now he is taking a bunch of damage as the Sour Guts probably throw on guard mode and just keep firing away at him. Changebringers lighting up these Crushers. One of them is almost dead. The other two are just fine. One of the Crushers did peel back and get the Doom Knights off of the Powder Guts, who are once again up and shooting. So the Changebringers just trying to get all of their ammo dumped out before the Powder Guts can take them down. Since the Powder Guts are the only ranged unit I see for the Ogres, so really the only threat for the Changebringers. And kind of hope they just shit out their 4 volleys and then accept their death. All right, Changeling Greasus is dueling with regular Greasus and the Butcher of the Great Maw. He's getting really good damage onto the Great Maw Butcher, but, you know, he doesn't have healing to back him up, whereas regular Greasus does. Changebringers get back here, shoot at Golgi, and Golgi is the actual Lord, so sniping him out will give you a big leadership boon. The game is pretty close so far, and the Changebringers light him up another time. His leadership is very low, but he's not gonna die just yet. Where's the edge of the map? Very far away. Okay. They probably have to go chase him down, but ooh, they demonic instability crumble. Okay, we have to see if he will rally on his own. Does he have his own heal? Yeah, he brought his own heal, so if he rallies, he's gonna be just fine. Oh, Soul Grinder snipes him out on the way, and that is the last hope for Tzeentch in this game. Tzeentch has just got to get rid of their leadership somehow, as these guys are all routing. They will be back, maybe. But it's the best you could do. It looks like the Changeling Greasus is gone, so it's just down to Village fighting the regular Greasus. And regular Greasus' bonus versus large is not actually used against Village. I mean, obviously. But 59 melee defense is not fucking around versus only 49 melee attacks, so Village is doing okay here. I mean, Greasus is still a much better combatant, but Village isn't getting, you know, slaughtered. He's just losing, but he's not losing that badly. Crusher's still charging back in with a Cash Cascade to buff them up. The Severed Claw fighting back as best they can. Other spears are about to rout. We still have a Soul Grinder and a decent amount of Pink Horrors that actually haven't crumbled away just yet. I wonder what the Soul Grinder's been shooting at. He's down to half ammo, so he must have been doing some stuff. But yeah, only 600 damage value. The Tzeentch nerfs for the Soul Grinder very much felt. There's a reason we haven't seen too much Soul Grinder kite in recent months. And it would be those nerfs. Soul Grinder still firing, but with Village routing, looks like the Pink Horrors are about out of gas. They're going to demonic instability crumble, and that'll probably be army losses. The Severed Claw are too damaged to really hold up balance of power, and just one Soul Grinder with a 3rd ammunition is not enough to beat all these ogres. So I do think army losses is about to take Tzeentch out. GG. After the first game with Volkmar and Strev beaten up on poor Norska, Gold came back with a vengeance. The gods have been struggling. Wow, the Powder Guts cut 3,800 value. For Big Ketru, Changeling and Village and the Metamorphosis Beast and the Soul Grinder struggled, so all your single entities struggling to pay for themselves is pretty rough. The Aspiring Champion, ROR, did well, Pink Horse did okay, and the Changebringers did very well, but not enough for them. Let's pull it up. So that is Village down. Crone Hellebron, the last ally of Volkmar the Grim, before he has to take on all the mercenaries by himself. Can it hold? Can it hold? Let's see. Torsen versus Jackerskins. Chaos Dwarves versus Crone Hellebron. Do remember that the Dark Elves are limited to only 5 male units, and the Chaos Dwarves are limited to only 5 green skin type units, which includes Hobgoblins. So it's got to be a lot of Chaos Dwarf types. Looks like the 5 male units are 2 Dark Rider Peter Crossbows and 3 Cold One Knights. On the other side for Jackerskins, he only used 4 of his green skins with 4 Goblin Laborers. The rest is Chaos Dwarf Warrior spam, 3 Infernal Guard Fireglaves, the Granite Guard, and then Drazoeth with 2 Centaur Toruk things. Yeah, both Centaur Toruks. Drazoeth brought just his Flames of Asgore for spells. For the Dark Elf army, I didn't really cover it in full, but we had 3 Golden Knights, 2 Dark Rider Peter Crossbows, Crows of Cain, and other Harpies, and then we have Sisters of Slaughter and Witch Elves across the front line with Crone Hellebron and a Dark Caster. Dark Caster brought Doombolt, Bladewind, and Power of Darkness, while Crone Hellebron is on foot, didn't bring her Chariot, just her Gaze of Cain to buff her up. This looks bad for Chaos Dwarves, says Codex. Okay. Okay, all right, okay. Maybe it is. Witch Elf's gonna sprint into the Chaos Dwarf Warrior front line. Do need to pop their Witch's Brew if they're gonna have much of a chance of getting through those guys. Sisters of Slaughter also get in there. And they just want to get into melee as quickly as possible to get out of the gunfire that is coming at them. You can see the amount of damage they're taking is pretty ridiculous, but once they get shielded behind the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, they can just get to work in melee and not get shot at for the rest of this. So the Witch Elves all are starting to pop their Witch's Brew, trying to get their damage out. They are getting significantly damaged, however. Some Sisters of Slaughter starting to get around the sides. They can maybe get to these guys and, ooh, very nicely targeted Bladewind. Not getting as much damage as I would have thought on those Infernal Guard. Only takes them about half HP, but it was a really good cast. As the Granite Guard instantly delete a Harpy on the way in. Oof. That is nasty. Other Harpies make it in, but the Granite Guard are pivoting and they're going to peel for their brethren. Meanwhile, we have some kind of large fight over here. Sisters of Slaughter trying to hold it down as Witch Elves rampage in. And Hellebron was helping to fight, but they're not getting through the Chaos Dwarf Warriors as much as chat was expecting. They are getting some decent damage down, but not enough. We have Cold One Knights that need orders to move in, and the Dark Rider Peter Crossbows are vibing in the trees. You need to keep moving forward. Once again, with the larger armies, it is more to micro. So people can be forgiven for slight micro mistakes when there is so much chaos going on, but those Dark Rider Peter Crossbows will be needed up here. There is Murderous Prowess, which is good here. Actually, a lot of these units have Murderous Mastery, which would be extra good, but a nasty Flames of Asgore takes out 2 Cold One Knights and a Witch Elf that was on this area, leaving Crone Hellebron all alone as the Sorceress of Dark thinks about just leaving her Crone of Cain all on her own. Balance of power shifting pretty heavily in the favor of the Chaos Dwarves here. As the Infernal Guard, one of them is about to rout under Witch Elf and Harpy pressure, but 2 are fine, and the Granite Guard are also just fine. Bull Centaur Toruk now getting isolated, might get taken down as Crone Hellebron is on his ass with Cold One Knight surrounding him. They are about to rout, but still Hellebron herself is doing a decent amount of damage there. The Dark Rider Peter Crossbows still unmoved in those trees. I know they're scared of getting shot by the Infernal Guard Fireglaves, but I mean, you still got to use them. In comes the Dark Mace, reducing Prone Hellebron's non-existent armor. Does she have literally any? What's her base value? Whatever. She probably has like 20. Now I'm curious. Not the Bull Centaur Torok. Who gives a fuck about that? Prone Hellebron. Stop being dumb. There we go. Prone Hellebron. Base is 15. Other is plus 15, which I don't know what other is. But the Dark Sorceress is getting walked off by the Bull Centaur Torok. And Hellebron is moments behind. Terror out just gets rid of that random Bull Centaur, but the other one is capable of dealing with it. There come the Dark Rider Peter crossbows. As army laws is hit, they're like, wait, we technically were here. We participated. Look, we shot. That's funny. That's funny. Witch Elves actually did decently, considering they're only 750 gold. Sisters of Slaughter struggled a little bit, but did some work. Coldwind Knights, 2 of them got caught up in the flames of Asgore, and then the Dark Rider Peer crossbows were literally forgotten, which is a bit rough. For Jacker Skins, Drazoeth got a lot of value, probably mostly off that flames. Bull Centaur Toroks did okay. Chaos Dwarf Warriors held the line for as long as they were told, so they did their jobs. And then the Infernal Guard Fireglaves and the Granite Guard especially did very well, but all of them did quite nicely. The Dark Riders are being lore accurate. Treacherous, stinking, stealing elves. All right. I did not do that intentionally, but we started with the one faith win. Now, I didn't explain this at the start because we was already explaining stuff and we could just get to this point. So you might be like, the event's over, right? 4 faith have lost, 1 gold has lost. It's over 4-1. GG. Nuh-uh. Volkmar gets to take them all on. If Volkmar can beat all of these guys, he is fine. Now, how, Human Boy, do the special rules work? You take the special rules you started with you. So we're about to see some not balanced, like, differences. So the first one I'm going to boot up is Tretch Craven Tail versus Volkmar the Grim. So Tretch still has large army size plus 3,000 gold and hero limit of 5. Volkmar still has 4,000 gold, not large army size. He's still limited to 20 units total, no guns or single entity monsters besides Volkmar on his chariot, but his extended roster is open. Right? Right. And this Empire build is kind of crazy that I'm looking at. Holy. Again, I haven't seen any of these games. I haven't seen any of them. That is 10 greatswords, 5 of which are the Carroburg greatswords. What the hell? I mean, he has the avalanche mortars. What are you doing? What are you doing? The Carroburg's gonna chew through those 4K rounds. Sure, dude, but he has the avalanche mortars, bro. Run! Alright. Templeoff Luminarch. Volkmar the Grim on his chariot. Bright Wizard with Burning Head and Fireball. We still have Kalara. And then we have Carroburg Greatswords and the Tattered Souls, as they are just going to charge straight at the Skaven. For the Skaven, Ikat Zap Zap, Avalanche Mortars, 2 Poison Wind Globes, a Warlock Engineer with, wow, all of his spells. Literally all of them. That is probably a bit of a whoopsie. Skaven Slaves, Storm Vermin Halberds, and a front line of Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves. For the Hero Core, we do have Tretch and 2 Chieftains once again. And I saw the Templeoff Luminarch fire a shot, and it just went into the ground. Ikat Zap Zap is lighting up the Templeoff Luminarch. The Avalanche Mortars have got to get fire, and oh, they're not in range. Okay, that's fine. I thought maybe they had fire well off. Sigmar has abandoned us. Templeoff Luminarch really struggling with the slight elevation, and the Ikat Zap Zap just constantly lighting it up. Empire, I would say they're off to a rough start, but look at the balance of power just at the start of this game. That is wild. That is wild, and Jesus. Avalanche Mortars lighting up random greatswords. Volkmar's troop trying to dodge where they can, as Poison Wind Globes have fire at will on, so they are just killing your own Skaven Slaves, and they try and dodge a banishment. Don't get entirely out of the way, so they are going to take some good damage. And a nice Burning Head through other Skaven Slaves could maybe take out 2 on the advance. The globes and the avalanche mortars have to do a ton of work here. The Skaven do not stand a chance in combat against 10 greatswords, 5 of which are the Karaberg greatswords. That's just not going to happen. Now on the other side, the Empire single entities are pathetic. Volkmar cannot fight even one chieftain, much less 2. So it is, can the greatswords kill all the Skaven? And for the Skaven, is it can the avalanche mortars and the poison globes kill all the greatswords? Karaberg greatswords and clan rats both getting hit by the avalanche mortars, and Volkmar is already in a bit of trouble. Surrounded by storm vermin halberds. Oh god, my eyes. Okay, his soulfire bombardment and Kalara's rain of arrows or whatever. That was a lot of bright lights right in my face. I'm sorry for zooming in on that. That's on me. That's my fault. Anyway, Volkmar is getting tag teamed by the 2 chieftains. Tretch even hops in for good measure, so he could be in a little bit of trouble, but the Karaberg greatswords, regular greatswords, getting through that front line. The left flank for the Skaven has collapsed. The right flank is holding steady for now, and globes are still firing. Avalanche mortars still firing, and still the balance of power is like, nah, Sigmar's got this. Chieftain continues to harass Volkmar. Karaberg greatswords taking some damage from the avalanche mortars, and in comes a nasty burning head. This could be a game deciding burning head, as it is going to break the Skaven front line right next to the avalanche mortars and poison wind globes. Milky Way is falling back behind his Skaven slave reserves, but those are just Skaven slaves. They will not last long. Volkmar is almost dead. The Temple of Luminarch is almost dead as well, and it has done literally 0 damage. The other side of the coin, either it one-shots your lord with a crazy quadra hit, or it doesn't fire at all and just gets killed by a chieftain, as Volkmar suffers a similar fate. Oh god, I hate the chieftain's attack animations. I've seen this one attack Volkmar twice this game, where it pushed his cart out of the way of its own attack. Crazy bad BH RNG, Burning Head RNG. Sorry, I didn't see it. I was watching something else at the time. That's my bad, Jeff Adu. Huge avalanche mortar volley onto the Karaberg greatswords. The balance of power is worse for the Empire than it has ever been in this game, which still means they're ahead. They're ahead. They've been ahead the whole time. Volkmar is still dueling this goddamn chieftain. The chieftain just can't finish him off. One's going after Kalara in the background. Another burning head goes through the storm vermin. It hits some of the Karaberg greatswords. We're down to 20 models. They're so low. Avalanche mortars are kiting away from random greatswords. Chieftain still trying to kill Volkmar. Come on, man. I hate this unit model, dude. I hate it. I hate it so bad. 9 HP, you filth. You trash. Kalara gets hunted down by the other chieftain. Balance of power is going back towards the middle for the Skaven. Let's go, Skaven. Let's go. Warp lightning. This is going to be a really sick shot. Oh, so much damage. Volkmar is down. That is a threat to the regular greatswords. Not all of these greatswords are unbreakable. Only half of them are. We have storm vermin rallying. The Skaven are in this. The balance of power is better for them than it's ever been. Kalara is still getting hunted. The chieftain's running around. Tretch is pretty healthy. We have a caster that can be kept safe. We can do it. Avalanche mortars still peeling, running away. Globes running away from Sigmar's sons. Not enough ammo left. Grieven, you're a doubter? You're a doubter of the Skaven power? Stretch is actually having a really hard time clearing out the Karaberg greatswords. Unbreakable is a hell of a drug. At least the Warlock Engineer has his Warpstone armor. He needs to be in melee to proc it, but it's something. Chieftain still chasing around Kalara, who did manage to rally somehow. That looked a little weird, but I wasn't fully watching when that happened. The greatswords touched the Warlock Engineer, which is actually really bad because these 2 Karaberg greatswords that Tretch was having issues killing are just going to die off to being in contact with the Warp Shard armor. That's funny. Though these other greatswords might kill the Warlock Engineer. Avalanche mortars continuing to kite it out. Bounce power is going back in the Empire's favor just a little bit, as we're going to get another Warp Lightning onto some greatswords. It looks like for now the Skaven are trying to focus the greatswords that can actually break. Hey, late game Tattered Souls. That is so much infantry. You never thought the Skaven would have issues killing a bunch of infantry, but here we are. Sigmar's sons did catch that globe in the distance. The other globe is so low, it looks like it's just going to route off the map of its own accord. I'm starting to agree with Grieven. I'm starting to agree. The Skaven had a good mid game there, but this late game is starting to get a little spooky as you just look around and you're like, there's still more. There's still more unbreakable greatswords. What are we gonna do? Tretch is running away. What is this effect, by the way? This has been happening all game. These guys aren't under a Mortis Engine effect. They have no debuffs. What the hell is this? Whenever they're near Tretch, they just keep taking that weird little white thing, but I can't tell what it is. Chieftain's trying to hunt down the Bright Wizard. Avalanche Mortars have 4 volleys left, and they're going to have to use them to the best of their abilities as Skaven try and find somewhere to rally. Still running away. Chieftain should be able to deal with the Bright Wizards. Avalanche Mortar is going to tee off onto the Sigmar's boys, but they dodge away. Very nice dodge there from Strev. Very nice dodge. Waste that ammo. Waste it. Ooh, that should be a nasty volley. He's not going to dodge that one in time. Big damage. Routes off one of the key great swords. Where'd the Warlock Engineer go? He's back. He's fine. He's fine. Okay. Whoa. Hold on. The Skaven are back in this. Skaven are back in this. The Chieftain can kill the Bright Wizard. Easy. The Warlock Engineer, I mean, he has Crack's Call. So if we get into a late game blob fight around Tretch and you hit the Tattered Souls with that Crack's Call, that's going to be GG right there. Avalanche Mortars falling back. Only 2 volleys left on them is a bit of a problem. And that's a Burning Head through the Skaven Slaves. Okay. My brain exploded a little bit. I talked about Crack's Call, and then I saw that, and I was like, of course he's out of range. Like I said, my brain exploded for a bit. I'm not trying to say this is reasonable, but I was just talking about Crack's Call. I'm like, did this Skaven player just fucking Crack's Call 2 of his own units? Why would he do that? I was just like, I was stun locked for a second. All right, Chieftain finally gets the Bright Wizard to rout, so no chance that Bright Wizard comes back. For the great swords, anybody that can break is actually pretty damn low on HP and very close to breaking. So now it's mostly about clearing out these unbreakable units, which includes a full health Tattered Souls. We do have a caster. Winds of Magic go burr. They go burr against infantry specifically. So Skaven aren't out of this just yet. We have 2 volleys of the Avalanche Mortars. Those had better be used well, probably onto the Tattered Souls, because the more models, the easier it is. This is incredibly risky. Having just a Skaven Slave chase the Bright Wizard, 1, the Skaven Slave might rout, and 2, that's gonna fucking happen. I knew it was gonna happen. The Bright Wizard is so much more balance of power than an almost dead Skaven Slave that he just comes back. That's a big mistake. As a burning head, a fireball is coming in onto the Chieftain, but friendly fire, it was big brain all the time from the Skaven. They knew right away. They're like, oh, let him come back. He's gonna throw a fireball into his own units. He's gonna help us out. But what's not as big brain is using one of your last 2 Avalanche Mortar volleys on some random fucking almost dead greatswords. Please, you have 1 volley left. The Tattered Souls. Please, the Tattered Souls. This unit does more damage the more models you still have left alive. The Tattered Souls are literally full HP. 160 models just begging for a purple globe to just ruin their entire day as another little fireball hits this Chieftain in the head. Will one of the Chieftains please go kill that fucking guy? I'm sorry for losing my cool. I'm not biased. I'm not biased at all. Will one of the Chieftains go kill that fucking guy so my Skaven can win? Please. Unbiased caster. Kill that fucking guy. One of the Chieftains is sitting in the Tattered Souls and getting his ass handed to him as Tretch and the other Chieftain try and kill off the Carroburg Greatsword. The Avalanche Mortars are kiting. Just throw your last volley at the Tattered Souls, bro. Then you don't have to kite anymore. There's no reason to if they're out of ammo. Just shoot the fucking Tattered Souls. I'm gonna lose my mind. Also, stop letting him throw fireballs at you. Someone kill the fucking Bright Wizard. Please. He's right there. The Chieftain realizes after the 7th fireball hits him in the back of the head that he's like, wait, that bad guy over there. And he runs over and kicks his ass. One melee attack, and that Bright Wizard is gonna get routing. Meanwhile, predictive Warp Lightning peels the Tattered Souls away from the Chieftain. How is that Bright Wizard not routing? -2 leadership for as long as I can see. There he goes. One more route and he's gonna shatter, but hopefully they just chase him off and kill him. Avalanche Mortars, you have 1 shot time to shoot the fucking Tattered Souls. Please. The ammo just needs to be used. You just need to use the ammo as the Greatswords are so close to routing. The Carroburg Greatswords are also crazy close to just being dead. Do not shoot at a fucking Greatsword. I will lose my mind if this final volley does not go to the full health fucking Tattered Souls. Please. Do not fire. Do not fire at already dead Carroburg Greatswords, dude. It's not worth it. Milky Way, my boy, I'm begging you, please. I see it. I see their finger on the trigger. If you shoot at this 2-model Greatsword with your last volley, I am going to quit streaming Total War Warhammer forever. I will be done. I will be a Fortnite streamer for the rest of my days. Okay, thank God he's not going to shoot it at them. They're in melee now. They're going to die. It's going to be fine. Shoot the fucking Tattered Souls. The Balance of Power is still about the best for the Skaven. It's been all game. Warlock Engineer is regrouping. The Skaven are regrouping. In the distance, Chieftain chasing down the Bright Wizard. No more fireballs at the back of the head, please. Please. The Avalanche Mortars turn. One volley left. Tattered Souls getting close. Getting too close to dodge, maybe. Please fire. They're getting in range. Please fire. You need to shoot. You need to shoot them in the face now. Please fire. For the love of God, shoot! Shoot! Do something! No! Please! Shoot them! No, God! They're in melee now. Oh, the Warlock Engineer is going to rout any second. He needs to cast any spells he has because they're about to go away. Even a Scorch. No, he shatters. Fuck. And the front line's breaking. Why aren't the Avalanche Mortars shooting? And the Chieftain abandoned the Bright Wizard. The Bright Wizard's totally going to fucking rally and throw a fireball at the back of his head. Avalanche Mortars, do something. Do anything. Why are you holding this volley? Why? They run to the white line. They're like, dude, just rout us. I don't give a fuck. Get me out of here. Please. A bunch of Tattered Souls are running straight at me. I just want to rout. I just want to rout. Avalanche Mortars are like, get me out of here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Tretch and the Chieftains are trying to hold it down. A very close game. I think that Balance of Power is being a little disingenuous. I don't see any mysterious other things, so it's this 1/3 health Kerber Greatswords, it's this half health Tattered Soul versus 2 Chieftains, 1 volley from the Avalanche Mortars. No! Milky Way in the chat. Milky Way. They turn. They're turning. Shoot at the Tattered Souls. Shoot at the Tattered Souls. I see you giving attack orders onto the Kerber Greatswords. Fuck that. Fuck that. Just fire at the Tattered Souls. It's all you need. It's all you need. It's just 1 volley. Just 1 volley. And then your useless unit. Just shoot. Throw Guardboard on it. Shoot. Now stop running away. Please help the fucking Chieftains. Please. One of them's about to rout. The other one's doing good work. They're honestly doing good work on the Tattered Souls. And of course, the fucking Bright Wizard is back. No! 22 speed versus the Kerber Greatsword 17. Okay, so they might outrun them, though charge bonus is a hell of a drug. One of the Chieftains goes straight off the map. The other Chieftain's still fighting. Tretch is nearby, just trying to provide Tretch's raiders, giving him a little extra damage. Codex is yelling at Milky Way in the chat. Also, speed is a lie, as the Kerber Greatswords have definitely caught up the Avalanche Mortars. Again, I know charging. Don't tell me it's charging. I know it's charging, but still, it looks funny. It's ha-ha funny when you see speed 23, speed 17, the speed 17 runs up and starts stabbing them. But the Skaven are still in this. Dude, fuck the Balance of Power. Don't listen to the Balance of Power. These Tattered Souls were full health at one point, and this Chieftain is just mulching them. He is destroying these Tattered Souls. Tretch, Booby. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Please don't rout. Please don't rout. Tretch, no. Just let the Chieftain do it. He was doing so good. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Run away. Run away. Run away. Run away. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. If that fucking Bright Wizard throws a single fireball, I am going to lose my mind. So much about this game has made me want to lose my mind. It is a banger game. It's the greatest game of the stream so far. I love it. I'm not trying to make the players feel bad, but I am losing my fucking mind. Okay, the Avalanche Mortars. They got some distance. They got some distance. They got this. Now, what they can't do, shut up. What they can't do is rip a random shot at those Kerber Greatswords that are walking away because he'll dodge it. Strev, the player who's playing as Volkmar's team here, Strev has shown he is competent enough to pay attention and dodge that. So what you gotta do is you gotta wait for the Chieftain and Tretch to charge in. When they blob him up all nice and stuff, then you fire, because of course he's gonna try and dodge, and he'll dodge some of it, but some of those Kerber Greatswords will be stuck in attack animations, some of them will be knocked down at the time, and that most of that volley will fucking hit. So it's gonna be fine. Just do not fire it while they are completely naked and alone and able to dodge it. The Tattered Souls are nearly dead. Holy shit, the Skaven might have this game. The Balance of Power does not think so, but the Balance of Power is a fucking liar. That avalanche volley, that avalanche mortar volley is all that the Skaven need to win this game. The chieftain is running at the Bright Wizard. I see that tiny green arrow. He has a fucking fireball. He has a fucking fireball. I knew it. I knew it. Fuck you, dude. Of course you want a fucking fireball. That's why you gotta chase him down to kill him. No, it's gonna rout the chieftain. It's gonna cause army losses. I know it. I just know it. Hits him in the face. Chieftain, don't rout. If you rout, the game's over. Don't rout. If you rout, the game's over, bro. Ah, you stupid fuck. Chieftain's running. No. No. No, stupid Bright Wizard, you piece of shit. Oh, Chieftain's back. You don't have another fireball in you, do you? Please, no. I don't know if the Skaven can win at this point because the Chieftain is too low to actually scrap at the Caribou Greatswords, but maybe. This Chieftain is so sick of that Bright Wizard. He's so sick of it. He's had to chase this guy off so many times. If he even gets in range, the faster and stronger enemies nearby will just rout the Bright Wizard. Okay, Bright Wizard is shattered. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Caribou Greatswords, still here. A bit of a problem. Other Greatswords, not coming back. Avalanche Mortars, one volley. Okay. Okay. We got this. We fucking got this, boys. One good volley. Ah, but they're unbreakable. I mean, they're not going to rout. We know they're not going to rout, but one good volley, and then maybe, I mean, they killed an entire Tattersouls. All right, they can kill a 1/3 health Caribou Greatsword with an Avalanche Mortar volley. Is this Skaven being so fucking careful right now? And I get it. I get it. He just wants this to be the sickest, bestest volley. He's waited for the perfect time. This is what it was all cooking up to. Fire! 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 Please! 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 Why are you turning? Why are you turning? It's not the player's fault. It's not the player's fault. It's jank. It's jank. It's all jank. And why are you turning? No! 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 Army losses. Fuck you! Army losses. Hold on! Fire! Fire! Let's just shoot the goddamn thing! Please! Please shoot the thing! No! No! You need to shoot right now! Please! Stop turning! Stop turning! Stop turning! Army losses. Fuck off! No! Army losses. You dick! And the Greatsword's dodging anyway. Oh, don't want it. I don't want it. I just wanted this game to win. I just wanted this game to win. I don't want to finish the stream anymore. They're out there. Well, that's a game. Volkmar didn't get a lot of value, got hunted down by the chieftains. Kalara got a good amount of value. Bright Wizard, that value lies. This boy got at least 20k value in my eyes. Sigmar's Sons, Tattered Souls, did their jobs. Caribou Greatswords and Greatswords got a lot of value. And Temple of Luminarch, 1 gold damage value. That was a great game. That was a great game. I loved it. I'm gonna write myself a note to edit out this part of the stream and release it as an independent video. It's so fucking funny. Wow, Avalanche Mortars, 3,650 value. Very nice. Now, Codex is being mean to Milky Way in the chat. They are in a clan together, so they're friends. That's allowed. And before chat is too mean to Milky Way, to be fair, Strevelet's entire army was just walk slowly at them. So if we're going to talk about plays made or not made, it is all in Skaven. So of course you're talking about the Skaven, but like it was a crazy close game. Both players clearly played around the same level. Otherwise it wouldn't have been that close. So it is what it is. But it was really hard to talk about the Empire's perspective because it's like, Strevelet's walking. He needs to be walking. Keep walking at the Skaven, you know. So when I'm saying like fire the thing, all that stuff, I'm not trying to be like just a complete dick to Milky Way. It's like his army had all the agency, so I'm talking about his victories and his mistakes more, just because his army had agency. It's not because I'm like, this player is making so many mistakes. It's just like, no, that the other side is a bunch of great swords walking at you. What mistakes can you make? Hey, Trogdor. Ikit Claw, thanks the Avalanche Mortars for their backstab betrayal. Yes. Here's your Warpstone. Thanks, Zacinator. Thanks for the 20 bucks. Very much appreciated in these dark times of Warhammer 3. Lulls. Though I do hear there's a patch on the horizon. Milky Way is a hero. All right. Tretch is down. We still have 3 mercenaries left. Someone surely can beat Volkmar the Grimm's army. Let's find out who's next up to the plate. Looks like it's Codex. Codex, you're talking a lot of shit in the chat, Codex. So, you got a plan? You better win. All right. You're going to talk a big game. So once again, to remind you, Aranessa's limits, she has less extra gold than the Empire, but she does have access to Regiments of Renown as regular units. So as you can see, we have 4 Shade Wraith Gunners yet again. Rabbi, when are you doing more novel and lore videos? When I read more lore books, which I haven't for a while. I wasn't doing much reading when I was sick. I was just playing a lot of video games, which, like, it's not an excuse. I'm just saying I didn't, so that's on me. And then since getting back into work and stuff, I've just been busy. I have been reading a couple books, but I've been reading some non-fiction for fun. So I haven't read as much lore stuff. But I just picked up The Rise of Nagash, so I'm going to read that and probably do a Nagash lore video before the End Times DLC comes out, or right around the time the DLC comes out for maximum viewership. But yeah, no, that's just on me. I haven't been reading lore books, so I haven't had lore videos to make. There's your answer, buddy. For the Vampire Coast, we have a Sartosa Free Company front line backed up by handgunners and hand cannons, 4 Shade Wraith Gunners, 2 Mourngulls, and I think there's a third. There it is, the Night Terrors. On the front line, a vampires with Invocation of Heck, Gaze of Nagash, Aranessa Saltspite with her net, and that is that. For the Empire, Knights of the Black Rose, Swords of Ulrich frontline, Frenzy Swordsman with some Sigmar's Sons, so no Caribur Greatswords this time, couple Knights of the Black Rose, Stir River Patrol, and Huntsman and Deathjack. So the Stir River Patrol for their fire damage in case of Lamprey's Revenge. More Huntsman, the White Wolves, Templehof, Luminarch. We have a Gold Wizard, Kalara, and of course, Volkmar the Grim. Swords of Ulrich charge forward. These little frenzy swordsmen ready to get it done against the coast. Gonna kill the Sartosan Free Company quite easily, I imagine, while Knights of the Black Rose are gonna get assaulted by Mourngulls in the distance. And as we saw with the Greenskin game earlier, those ghost guns are making quick work of the Archers of the Empire. We see a lot of them have already taken significant damage, and they're already routing a couple times here and there. So early game is going good for the coast. Balance of power is in the Empire's favor, but they did start with an extra 3,000 gold, remember? So, to be fair, extra 3,000 gold. Spearfishing that down on Volkmar, who's currently getting shot, and we saw a Gaze of Nagash, but the Gaze of Nagash overcast did significant damage to the Vampire's caster, and the Archer counterfire is going to mess her up, so she's actually going to crumble away now. One of the Shade Wraith Gunners gets killed off by Kalara. So the Empire, after a bit of a rough start, is making a lot of headway in this early mid-game area. Not quite late game yet, not quite fully mid-game. Volkmar, once again, like in the Skaven game, is getting sniped out as the Vampire Coast is making quick work of him, but the rest of the Empire army is doing pretty well. Swords of Ulrich have started to get back towards those Shade Wraith Gunners, and up come the Mourngulls to offer a little bit of extra peel. Still, the balance power is creeping towards the middle, which means really the Vampire Coast is doing quite well if they can catch up on that damage value. Shade Wraith Gunners continuing to sit back and fire, and Knights of the Black Rose just struggling to get past Mourngulls. Mourngulls peeling quite nicely. Swords of Ulrich starting to fade away. And is this the end of faith? Has gold finally claimed victory as Aranessa is just awkward? Look at her run animation. Holy shit, that is... There's nothing wrong with it. It just looks funny. She leans so far forward. She is very invested in that run, but she was trying to run down Volkmar, couldn't quite get him, and is instead going to be happy with Stir River Patrol. Templehof Luminarch. This thing has been coasting off the first game of the day. First game, first shot, it one-shot Sail the Faithless, and since then, it has not hit a single shot. I think that is hilarious, personally. Shade Wraith Gunner is now firing at Kalara. That is a pretty hard target to hit. I do hope they refocus onto killing more of the archers and stuff and just leaving Kalara for later in the game. Volkmar snuck his way past Aranessa, who is once again anime sprinting after him. No, she's just walking. Okay, no anime sprint today. But he gets back into the Shade Wraith Gunners, and his Soulfire Bombardment actually does a lot of damage to them. No armor, weak to magic damage, low HP. All those things are great for Soulfire, which has been nerfed since Warhammer 2, but it is still good against ghosts, specifically. Kalara is looking to delete yet another one in the distance. She does half its HP. Here comes the Soulfire Bombardment. It's already half HP, and the Soulfire is enough to finish it off. They're just going to crumble away, is my point. I don't think that they'll be rallying, so they're probably doomed. Swords of Ulrich do reach the third and final Shade Wraith Gunner. Is the other one? I mean, it took a hit from Kalara, but after that, it's been okay. They're still trying to shoot Kalara, though, which I do disagree with. They really need to finish off the archers around, in my opinion. Kalara throws out another one of her bound abilities, Isha's Reign, slowing down the zombie pirate handgun mobs. As Morngul's just creep out of nowhere on the back line. I didn't even see them coming. I was looking at other stuff. They rout off the Templehof Luminarch. Some Huntsmen and Stir River Patrol try and peel for it, but it's really not going well. So I would like to see these Ghost Archers refocus on making sure the low units finish routing and actually like go off the map. Searing Doom trying to hit these guys. It will hit. It will do pretty good damage. We got to finish off some of these archers. Aranessa can maybe duel Kalara in the late game. Can finish off Volkmar in the late game, but if there's just a bunch of super wounded archers that can all run away from her, she's gonna have a bad time. Knights of the Black Rose netted down and shot. Interesting. That's not a bad use of the net. That's fine. Cleaning up the last cavalry, pretty good, pretty good. But I thought she was saving that net until she got back in range of Volkmar, but ooh, yeah, maybe that's why he just burned it, is Volkmar is actually pretty healthy. The Jade Griffin has healed him up quite a lot. So earlier he was actually in kill range, and now he's not at all. Sigmar's Son's dying against the Sartosa Free Company with the Gold Wizard in tow. The Morghuls are cleaning up the back line. The bounce power is going more in the favor of the Empire as we get later into the game. I think it's Kalara and Volkmar's HP that's doing a lot of it, but actually, like, the Vampire Coast has cleaned up a lot of the Empire army. What the fuck was that spell? It was Kalara's bound ability. Shade Wraith Gunners get hit with another Searing Doom, and once again, they're in crumbling range. They're probably going to die off. Just because their HP is so low, crumbling takes out actually a good chunk of their HP consistently, and then taking that HP makes their leadership lower, so it just makes it really hard for them to rally. Volkmar's Soulfire Bombardment is going to finish off the Sartosa Free Company and the Shade Wraith Gunners, calling it now. Was it correct? Sartosa Free Company route? Ah, they're not crumbling. I was close, but I was wrong. Still have a Shade Wraith Gunner, technically. Still have a Night Terror, and I think a regular Morngul, or no, just the Night Terrors. Just the Night Terrors. Kalara is still firing, down to 9 shots. Sartosa Free Company, charging into the Swords of Ulrich. Their only special thing is they have Frenzy, so since their leadership is actually pretty low, they don't have their Frenzy right now. Is that a Plague of Rust? Did you Plague of Rust the Night Terrors? Why? I mean, they had 30 armor and you took away 30 armor. You know, game recognized game. But still, like, come on, man. Kalara is getting good damage on the Night Terrors. They're trying to get back in range of the Huntsmen so they can get that hunger regeneration up and rout these guys. But the Death Jacks, the Stir River Patrol, other Huntsmen, there's just a lot of random fire left. And we did talk about this earlier, which is why I wanted the Shade Wraith Gunners to kind of finish the job rather than get distracted trying to shoot Kalara or trying to shoot this or that thing. The remnants of the archers is enough to just peel the Morghuls, and now it's looking pretty bleak. Bounce power is getting really bad for the Vampire Coast. Aranessa is healthy, but Volkmar is about heal capped. That's a good thing, but I mean, Kalara, Volkmar, and a Gold Wizard can probably beat Aranessa. Probably. The archers won't matter as much. The archers are great for clearing out everything else, but they're really bad at shooting in Aranessa, so it is just like, all right, these 3 single entities can probably kill Aranessa. And Codex surrenders. So Codex in chat talking a lot of shit to Milky Way, and then you lost to... I hope you feel bad about yourself for losing in a for-fun event. I hope you feel bad. I hope you can't sleep at night. Anyway. Good game, brother. Good game. You know I'm joking. A lot. Okay, just word for the wise. If I'm shit talking someone on stream, it probably means I have a pretty good relationship with them on Discord. I don't tend to just throw flame at people I literally don't know. All right, Swords of Ulrich struggled a little bit, but they did their jobs. Huntsmen also struggled a little bit. They got peeled off by those ghost archers. Knights of the Blazing Rose, Knights of the Black Rose did okay. 2 value for the Temple of Luminarch. I don't know where I got that 2 value, but Kalara, Volkmar, and the Gold Wizard did nicely. All right. Only Volkmar won the first round, but since then he's taken out 2 more golds with him. 2 remain. Sippa and Jackerskin's Golgi Maneater and Drazoeth. Drazoeth has the same amount of money, limit 5 greenskin units. Sippa has 1,000 more gold, but he has to waste it on Greasus Goldtooth. Strevelet did have the choice of who he was going to face next. By the way, when he was the only one left, I was just like, who do you want to fight? He picked Tretch, then he picked Codex, and now let's see the order of operations. He has picked Jackerskins. Chaos Dwarves versus Empire. Will this be the final game, or will Volkmar take us all the way to facing Golgi Maneater? Let's find out. The Luminarch doubling its value. All right. We caught the very end of the load screen. We have Stubborn Bulls, Empire Knights with great swords, so armor-piercing cavalry, Volkmar the Grim, yet again, and then we also have another warrior priest. So they're trying to give the Stubborn Bulls more melee attack, which they struggle with. They're in the woods, so they only have a base of 32 normally. So those hammers of Sigmar are trying to get them to actually hit the high defense Chaos Dwarf units. Then we have great swords and Kerber great swords across the front line, as we have seen before from this player, and a Comet of Cassandora caster. On the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, it's been a while since we've seen them, but triple Infernal Ironsworn, and then a Chaos Dwarf Warrior mixed front line of Great Weapons and Regular. We have a Bull Centaur Toruk, Drazoeth on foot with Hellhammer, Curse of Hashit, and then an Infernal Castellan, 2 Magma Cannons, and a Blazing Beard. Oh, and 1 Infernal Guard Fireglaves. Not seeing a lot of anti-cavalry tools here, so if we get really good cycle charging from the Stubborn Bulls, this could be an Empire win. Finally dropping the Luminarch. Yeah, maybe a game where they could have used it though against these Magma Cannons, but it looks like the Stubborn Bulls are just going to charge the Magma Cannons to take them out nice and early. Now, on the advance, the Empire is going to take a crap ton of damage, both from the Magma Cannons and from all of these blasting charges we see going out, and the Hellhammer down the line. So the Great Swords are going to have to hold on. They are unbreakable, so of course they can hold on. And the Bull Centaur Toruk finds a Volkmar isolated. Stubborn Bulls are killing 2 Magma Cannons though, so that is really good for the Empire. Other Stubborn Bulls stuck fighting these Infernal Guard Fireglaves, and they're struggling a bit. The blasting charges are all used except for the Blazing Beards, who still have a bit left in them. Bull Centaur Toruk charging down the Warrior Priest, and another Grand Shield of Faith goes down to help out these guys. 1 Magma Cannon is routing, the other one is going to be close behind it, but we have point-blank shots coming in from the Infernal Guard Fireglaves. Volkmar takes matters into his own hands, charges them, hits them with a Soulfire Bombardment. Much less damage on them than those Shade Wraith Gunners, however. Chaos Dwarf frontline is taking a lot of damage. That is not idle. They have taken a lot. So if we get into a late game where they're getting cycle charges, they could actually get killed off. Kerber Greatswords moving forward. We got to take out these Infernal Ironsworn somehow before we get too tattered. That could be a game loss if in the super late game you deal with trying to cycle charge full health, fresh Infernal Ironsworn could be pretty bad. Could be. We still have healthy greatswords streaming in, and Volkmar is leading his boys away with the Grand Hammer and the Hammer of Sigmar overstacked buff fading. Some missed time buffs here from the Empire. Ooh, very nice Comet. Very, very nice. A little bit of damage on 1 greatsword, but takes out 2 Chaos Dwarf units in the meantime. Magma Cannon, 1 is dead. The other one's getting locked off. 1 more hit from that Sigmarite should spell its doom. There it goes. So he doesn't have to waste time chasing it. Stubborn Bulls getting into fights. They're maybe staying a little longer than I would like. They're just staying in combat, not cycle charging as much and refreshing their charge bonus. Meanwhile, the double Sigmarites challenge the Bull Centaur Torque. They're not the best combatants, these two. I wonder if they can take him down. We'll have to see. Bounce power has been about the same most of the game. The Chaos Dwarfs took an early lead, and they've held on to it. Their Magma Cannons are dead. Their Chaos Dwarf front line is crumbling away. Slowly. It's now in the Infernal Ironsworn and the single entities of the Chaos Dwarf to hold it down. Bull Centaur Torque still fighting these two. He is taking a bit of damage, but he's kind of trading it back evenly with these two. So in a 2-on-1, he's trading evenly with them, which is pretty bad for the Empire usually. Obviously, with a 2-on-1, you'd want to be like slamming. Hammer of Sigmar is out to give the Stubborn Bulls 58 melee attack. But they're getting sleepy. And the Great Swords continue to move up. We need more comets. We need more comets to come down. Ooh, that would be a juicy comet spot. How many comets have you thrown out? Probably 2. I'm guessing 2. You have Glin's magic. Throw another comet. Do it. Do it. Do it, coward. You won't. More Stubborn Bulls charging around. Great Swords still getting into fights. The Empire still has a chance in this game. It is going to rely on those comets, honestly. If we can get 2 comets, like, onto these healthy-ish Chaos Dwarf units, that could change a lot. Soulfire Bombardment down, getting a little bit of poke. We need more Winds of Magic. How does this event work? We went over it at the start, and we're nearing the end, but we had sides that were thematically matched up of gods versus gold, so like mercenaries versus religious zealots. Nice comment on the Blazing Grids of Bosrock. And then they had special rules that gives them more gold for bigger and cooler armies with some special limitations to make them play a little more thematically. And then it was elimination. So we currently have Volkmar the Grim still alive for the god side, facing off against Drazoeth. And if he beats Drazoeth, Golgi Maneater is still alive for the mercenaries, but that would be it. That would be the final game no matter what. If the Empire wins here, they still have to beat Golgi to win. If the Chaos Dwarves can manage to snuff out the last life of the Empire, they were the last holy order left, and they would fall. So if you're hoping for one more game, you are rooting for the Empire right now. The Empire's doing solidly. The bounce power kind of keeps creeping away from them, but really the state of the game has not gotten much worse. We still have Great Swords still grinding through the last of the Chaos Dwarf frontline. And then it's just 3 single entities, which includes an Infernal Castellan with a lot of ammunition. And he will die so fast to Kerber Great Swords buffed up by Volkmar. In fact, the Warrior Priest is even going to have a word with him now, but he needs to be careful. That Bull Centaur Torque is nearby, and we saw how it went 2v1. So 1v1 won't go well. Very nice Hellhammer onto the Kerber Great Swords from Drazoeth. Warrior Priest is doing okay damage versus the Infernal Castellan, but he's getting traded back about evenly, and that Bull Centaur Torque is on the hunt. He's going for Volkmar, who is already showing his heal cap. Doesn't quite have it yet, but he is showing it. There's the Dark Mace to reduce everybody's armor a little bit, but the Infernal Ironsworn route just as that happens. We need one more Comet. The Empire could win this game. If there's one more Comet in the tank for the last healthy-ish Infernal Ironsworn, then maybe the remnants of your unbreakable Great Swords. And I guess you have some regular Great Swords coming back as well. They can maybe surround this Infernal Castellan. They can maybe surround Drazoeth and take him out. But both sides are getting very depleted. Very, very depleted. Stubborn Bulls just running off various things, making sure they don't come back. Volkmar is slowly regenerating. He's the only unit with healing here. The Kerber Great Swords, there they go. They're getting this around on the Infernal Castellan, which is exactly what they need to do. They are going to do a lot of damage to him. I know they're very wounded, but like still, you can see he's already lost 400 HP while I've been watching him, so that's pretty damn bad. Volkmar charges over with some other regular Great Swords and gets a Soulfire Bombardment down on the Chaos Dwarf warriors that are berating them. And there it is, the Comet that could save the game. Drazoeth and the boys starting to dodge it. Does it angle up? Does it angle up? He's gonna dodge it in its entirety, and it angles down. So a little unlucky for the Empire, and a very good dodge from the Chaos Dwarves, of course, not taking all agency away from them. But you can see, this is what I was talking about. The Kerber Great Swords, even super wounded, they just murdered the Infernal Castellan, especially now they're getting the Hammer of Sigmar. They're very buffed up. So that Infernal Castellan is going to die and take all of his precious, precious ammunition with him, but the Chaos Dwarves dodging that Comet is brutal, and a Curse of Hashut, which is essentially just Spirit Leech onto the Warrior Priest, is another really bad sign for the Empire. The Empire is doing such a good job cleaning things up. The Infernal Castellan must be killed. He cannot be allowed to rally. And also, just for your balance of power, you got to finish taking out that ammunition. Grand Shield of Faith is down on the Great Swords and Kerber Great Swords to help them just a little bit. Kill the last of the Infernal Ironsworn. Volkmar's trying to hunt the Infernal Castellan. And where is that Bull Centaur Torek? There he is. He has a decent amount of HP, so I was like, no way he died. Speaking of died, Volkmar needs one more shot on the Infernal Castellan to kill him outright, but it looks like he doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the time to kill that guy. He's just going to hope he doesn't rally or do anything in a reasonable amount of time, as Volkmar is going to charge back in against the Bull Centaur Torek. The Celestial Wizard's also here, and we have 4 Kerber Greatswords, but that is not a lot to fight all these Infernal Ironsworn. It's looking a little desperate for the Empire. They just want to snipe out the Bull Centaur Torek, and then maybe they can win, but Drazoeth is still here, and Drazoeth's not nothing. 430 weapon strength, 59 melee defense, full, like, not full HP, but, you know, pretty damn healthy, 3/4 HP. And yeah, the Infernal Castellan is back. 0 leadership, down to -5. Does get a couple shots onto Volkmar real quick. Celestial Wizard, I think he was trying to throw down a Comet, but he did get knocked over. Yeah, he's trying to throw a Comet out, but he keeps getting knocked over by the Bull Torek. And then Volkmar gets hit with Curse of Hashut. Bounce Power is getting very tragic. The Chaos Dwarves again dodge the Comet. It's just a little too slow of a cast time. Gets some decent damage on the Infernal Ironsworn despite it being a miss, but it's not enough just yet. The Empire needs allies. Hi, kitty. My kitty cat's attacking my foot. Well, he's not attacking it. He's nuzzling it with his head. Oh, the Celestial Wizard is down, and Army Losses takes Volkmar out. The Chaos Dwarves will win it and seal the event for the side of gold. Gold is more powerful than your god. Fool. Great Swords did very well. Kerber Great Swords also did nicely, though they were focused down by blasting charges. The Stubborn Bulls did overall okay, not amazing. And the heroes did okay. For Jacker Skins, good win. Very, very close games to wrap it up. Drazoeth did it quite nicely. Ooh. Bull Centaur Torek also 2,500 value, very, very good. Chaos Dwarf Warriors not going to get a lot of value. They were just trying to hold off superior greatswords, but the Infernal Ironsworn and the Blazing Beards did a fantastic job with their blasting charges. And then Magma Cannons actually had decent value considering how quickly they were shut down. That was it. That was it. GG's, GG's. Strevelet is down. Sipa and Jacker Skins remain for the side of gold. Once again, thanks to everybody who played. I know the special rule sets were fun and they made for some fun games, and we learned that some of the matchups were not balanced, like the Vampire Coast versus the Greenskins was pretty rough on the Greenskins, but all players throughout this event had a pretty good spirit about it. No one complained at all about anything being unfair, which is good. And yeah, I just want to shout out everybody who played. People were pretty good sports. And yeah. GG's, boys. I am a little sad that we only got to see the Golgi Greases combo once, but Jacker Skins and Strev happened to be on at the same time, so Strev was like, whatever, I'll just fight Drazoeth since he's on right now. But I remember he originally wanted to fight Sipa, but then they were having trouble scheduling, and he was just like, whatever. But I wanted to see more Greases. I also wanted to see the Luminarch just blow Greases to bits. That would have been funny, because it can for sure, like, triple hit him. And he can't dodge it. He's too fat. All right, GG's, boys. GG's. Tomorrow we have the Faction War Finals. Top 4 live. Wood Elves versus Tzeentch, and then Wood Elves versus Britannia. Winners of those goes to a best of 3 final. Should be an under 2-hour stream because it's just 5 games, but it will be live, so that'll be fun. If you didn't catch those streams, I mean, I did just spoil for you who's going to be in it, but whoops. The games were still fun leading up to it. We had 2 Faction War streams over the last week. Go check those out. As for daily videos, I will be clipping out maybe 2 games from this stream. 2 of them are pretty fun. Volkmar versus Drazoeth was fun. Volkmar versus Tretch was pretty damn fun. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Volkmar versus Aranessa was honestly also pretty close. So Volkmar had a lot of close games. Trying to think. Village versus Golgi was actually okay. It was solid. Raponce versus Tretch was funny, but in the end it was pretty one-sided. Well, not one-sided, but I mean, he had 2,000 rats at the end, and a lot of them were Storm Vermin. That was pretty fucking brutal. No Flock of Doom, man. No Flock of Doom. It's been in every game for the last year. Everyone's taking Flock of Doom, and then you see 4,000 rats. Of course, he didn't know it was 4,000 rats, but you see 4,000 rats, and you're like, nah, not today, bitch. I'm gonna kill them all by hand. And then he, you know, didn't. The person who picked Draz must be a very, very smart person. It's true. It's true, he is. Jackerskins is the smartest. The smartest. Later, gang. Have a good one.